What was that motivation that let you know that this is the opportunity that you and your partner need to grab?
We saw this as an opportunity to start doing something of our own.
What was really going through your mind at that point, borrowing money from friends and family to do something that potentially can be risky? Because entrepreneurship is a risky game.
While there were risks, and we understood that there are risks, but that sense of adventurism.
There's two essential skills that you need to succeed in the next era.
In this episode, we'll be speaking with a tech titan who's traveled all the way from India and becoming a tech titan here in China with over 20 years in the game. Now, I am talking to a godfather here, and you'll be learning about how Ravi Shankar, Bose, has balanced that narrow recipe between innovation and conservatism when it comes to growing a tech business here in the East, as well as how he and his team would be taking Chinese tech concepts to the global market and how some of these are influenced by the geopolitical factor here and what is required for success in these markets. Now, this is a great one for you to listen to, and I don't want you to miss it, so stay tuned and let's get the party started.
Greetings to all my tech visionaries. Today we are stepping into the boundless world of digital innovation, where one man is leading the charge in accelerating the Web 3.0 blockchain and AI ecosystem. It's with great pleasure that today we introduce the tranquilizing Ravi Shankar Bose. Imagine a tech maestro with over 2 decades of experience. 2 decades, that's an entire adult life. Yeah, a knack for transforming cutting-edge concepts into reality, and a profound understanding of how digital innovation shapes the future of business. Ravi's journey takes us from the bustling streets of Shanghai, where he co-founded Fogo Mobile, a pioneering digital solution company, to the frontier of blockchain technology as the CTO of Doris Metaverse. But Ravi's story is more than just tech. Yeah, it's a testament to his commitment to bridging culture and promoting Indian art and culture through the Shaiti Art Foundation. He needs to correct me if I pronounce that one incorrect. He's been a torchbearer for digital technology, advocating its role as a driver of growth in government, industry, and academic forums, and a frequent speaker at prestigious institutes like IMMs, SIBS, SP, JANE, and MICA. If you're curious about how one man's passion for technology, a commitment to innovation, and a love for culture has blended into a remarkable journey, then this is a treat for you. So stay tuned, because we're about to unveil the incredible story of Ravi Shankar Bose, a tech visionary who's not just shaping the future, but also celebrating the past. Ravi, welcome to the NextGen CEO's journey, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Deano. Glad to be part of this talk. Wonderful to connect with you. And to your
Same here,
audiences
same
as
here.
well.
You know what makes me most excited about this conversation is one, the amount of time you have in the game. Two, you're from India and we have that love for cricket as well. So I'll be vibing on that. So what I'm curious about now would be, what is your entrepreneurial journey like? I remember in a previous conversation you mentioned that your family has no business background. Yeah, but you're here in China, different country. Yeah, showing up as a CEO, co-founder of a company here in China. So tell us, where did this story started, Ravi?
So we call ourselves accidental entrepreneurs.
Mm,
So a lot of it happened by accident. But to take you back, and I've been in China for the last 22 years. To just take you
wow.
back to that time, I mean, it just feels like yesterday, but to take you back to the year 2000, I was working in the Indian software sector out of Mumbai, and our company at that point was opening up in Shanghai, in China, along with joint venture partners of SoftBank and Siemens Mobile. And
Mm,
that's how I got into China, working for that company. My background was on tech, so I've always been in the tech field.
mm,
Uh, so I came here in year 2000. We ran the company, we ran the joint venture, SoftBank, Siemens Mobile, and the Indian company called Contest to Win. So we ran that company till 2006, when that
okay.
company got acquired by Disney. Now, Disney was looking to enter China. Traditionally, they would go via the TV channels route, but due to the regulations, in China, the only avenue open to them was through the digital media, and that's how they
Hmm.
acquired that company in 2006. Post the
Okay.
Disney acquisition, uh, along with my business partner Ranjit, both of us came out of came out of Disney and then started Fugu Mobile. Fugu Mobile is a company which looks at providing digital solutions, and I'm talking 2006. At that time, digital was still fairly new,
I can
but we always
imagine.
knew, yes, but we always knew that digital has a good future, and
Hmm.
we were primarily working with the brands, so there was a good opportunity, good potential, good market. China was always been very, very tech-savvy consumer markets. We knew that the potential is definitely there, and that's how we started Fugu Mobile. And since 2006 and today we are 2023, we have been running the company, working with various brands, providing them with various kinds of solutions.
Hmm. Well, first, I must say congratulations, man. I just want to acknowledge the body of work that you have under your belt. And it's interesting that you say you're an accidental entrepreneur. And what I'm really curious is that how did that accident happen? Like, what was that motivation that let you know that this is an opportunity that you and your partner need to grab? Yeah, because they always said people who become entrepreneurs, something is really missing in their head. So I'm really curious around that story.
Yeah, so this is back in 2006 when our previous company, where we were working, we were not founders of the company, we were employees in that
Mm.
company.
And
And when
what position did you held before you made the transition?
I was the head of technology and looking after the
Okay.
gaming business, mobile gaming business
Ah.
at that point
Oh
of
wow.
time. So, 2006, when that company got acquired by Disney, and in the previous company also, we have been working with the brands, providing them with solutions. But once the Disney acquisition happened, Disney was not really looking to work with third-party brands because they themselves are a big brand. They have a lot of
Mm.
IPs, so they were not looking to, work with the brands. And for us, even though we were employed in the company, but we had set up that business in China. We had worked with so many brands, right? And
Mm.
we really wanted to take that part of the business forward, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
we were
yeah.
in a situation that that situation had happened. Where we were mainly employees, um, but we also saw an opportunity. We saw an
Mm.
opportunity in taking forward that business. We saw an
Mm.
opportunity with the landscape in China being, revolutionized by the whole digital ecosystem that was coming up. So we saw this as an opportunity uh, to start doing something of our own. Uh,
Mm.
that we were in China and we wanted to continue this journey in China. So we really believed in this whole ecosystem that China was providing. So we wanted to continue that. The only
Mm.
problem that we had was we don't come from business family, so neither me nor my business partner. So we did not have the funds to really start something of our own. Since we did not have entrepreneurship background, nobody is going to put money on us, right? So we do what any startups would do. We went to our friends and family, and they lent us some money. And with that, we started very small, and then we continued with that journey.
That song old school entrepreneurship. That's what we call how should I that's real OG entrepreneurship. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think it's so funny. Like you said, you're accidental entrepreneur. I feel like I'm an academic entrepreneur because I kind of get into it because of school. And very
yeah,
interestingly, one of the first thing that they tell us whenever we are looking for funding for venture is start with the two F's. Yeah, friends and family. Yeah, so that was a good accident. Yeah,
yeah,
so the
yeah,
academic kind of steals some of that from looking at people like yourself.
yeah,
Now, so Disney came, acquired your company, and you and your partner Ranjit saw this opportunity to serve big brands because Disney didn't see any interest there. So that was really a great opportunity for both of you. And what I'm really curious about is what was really going through your mind at that point, borrowing money from friends and family to do something that potentially can be risky because entrepreneurship is
yeah,
a risky game. There's a high
yeah,
high potential of failure and there's a high
yeah,
potential of success. How did
yeah.
what was the mindset behind that helped you to navigate that amount of pressure?
To be very honest with you, at that point of time, and I mean, both of us were quite young at that point of time. So while there were risks, and we understood that there are risks, but that sense of adventurism, right?
Mm.
And to be honest, when somebody like us from India coming to China in the year 2000, the sense of adventurism has already
Can
begun,
imagine. My
right?
gosh.
And we didn't want to give up at that point of time in 2006. We knew that, okay, we have done it. We have been here for 6 years. There is
Yeah.
still some kind of adventure left in us. Let's take that risk. Let's go forward. But we also had a lot of confidence in ourselves. And that confidence
Mm.
had come in the last 6 years, from 2000 to 2006. When we worked for the other company, we had that confidence that we can actually build a business. So we had
Mm.
gained experience as well. Part of it, again, from as you come from an academic background, part of it is was something called as entrepreneurship, right? So where you are in a
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
company,
yeah.
but you have been given enough freedom to go ahead and take the business forward. So we had that experience for the last 6 years where we had learned that how to set up a business, how to navigate within
Oh,
China,
wow.
right?
Okay, okay.
Both from business as well as technology point of view. So we had even confidence in us as well. So
Mm.
I think these are some of the factors which contributed in taking the risk, but also with a sense of adventure as well.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I think what we need to correct when you said accidental entrepreneur, what I'm hearing is like you turn entrepreneur to entrepreneur. Because I recently made a post about the idea of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. You don't necessarily need to be in a startup to be an entrepreneur because a lot of big companies do create that environment on the inside. And the basic fundamental remains the same. Yeah, we find problems that we can solve and then we apply innovative solution, whether it's inside or outside of a company. So I'm really happy that you highlighted that caveat. And I want to tap on the sense of adventurism because that sounds like something that we can't really put our hand on to. It sounds like it's something that comes from inside of you.
Yeah.
Where do you think you got that sense of adventurism? Where did that come from?
I think what started off when we started our careers in India. And as you know, India has been known as a software hub, right?
Mm,
But the way India has become a software hub is also a bit of adventurism in terms
mm,
of, looking to get into those avenues, those areas where as a country, we do
mm.
not have experience, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we got into those avenues and started doing well on those avenues through software, right? So we work with,
Mm,
let's say, the American companies, we work with the European companies, even in Far East, in Japan. But we got into those areas where we might not have had enough experience ourselves, but we had the confidence to go into another country, into another organization,
mm,
into another corporate and solve problems. So whenever it comes to
mm.
that background, I always look at what is our capacity, what is our bandwidth to solve problems. And it may not be our
Mm.
problem, but somebody else's problem,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that gave us the sense that yes, in any kind of ecosystem, in any kind of environment, we can go there and uh, we can create a successful model, right? And that's
Mm.
I think the upbringing that we have, the education system that we have in India, the engineering system that we have in India, the business environment that we had in India, and that contributed a lot, I would say.
Mm. Mm. You said something that really jumped out to me. Now I can see where that confidence come from. Yeah, being able to come out of an environment that you're familiar with and come to an environment that is so unfamiliar, but you're still able to solve problems in this new environment. That definitely bring that sense of confidence. And last weekend I went to a workshop with that Larry Wang Hell. I don't know if you know him. He's also in Shanghai.
Yeah,
And he said something interesting. He was saying that there's two essential skills that you need to succeed in the next era, this volatile, uncertain world. And he said, one is your ability to learn quick, and two, your ability to solve problems. Yeah, if you
yeah,
can learn
yeah,
quick and solve problems, yeah, it doesn't matter what world you're living. And seeing that you have been in China since 2000, yeah, that's a
yes,
very long time to know
yes,
a lot has changed. Yeah, things has been like if you been in China 10 years ago, it looks completely different.
Correct.
Yeah, so now I'm curious about, what was some of the key skills you will say, or the key mindset that really helped you to adapt during those key milestones over the last 2 decades as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it was more of a collaborative process. And the
Mm.
reason why we say a collaborative process is because of the Chinese entrepreneurs, Chinese tech entrepreneurs, particularly in our industry, the way they would come out with product, services, and the mass adoption of those products and services.
Yeah.
So being part of that community, I think we got to learn a lot, taking risks, but looking at products and services, what will be applicable to the mass. And when we look at companies like, Alibaba, Tencent, and because we have spent so much time, at one point these were small companies, these were not large companies. They had that startup community feel to them, right? And they were coming
Yeah.
out with these new products and services. Of course, in the beginning, we would look at uh, many of these companies were probably reverse engineering some of the Western world, products and
Mm.
services. But at some point, I mean, just by reverse engineering, the companies cannot survive. But at some point, they started taking this leap of innovation and creativity both, keeping the consumer in
Mm.
mind, right? The consumer was always kept in mind, right? So keeping in mind the consumer, they were going out with this innovation and creativity, right? And being part of that community, learning and experiencing what was happening, we kind of became part of this whole innovation, fast-paced innovation. Not only about concepts, but how do you implement in the real world? How do you implement to the consumer and consumer?
Mm.
And I would also add not just the tech entrepreneurs or the tech ecosystem in China, because our business is a lot with the brands, and a lot of them are multinational brands. But they have been bold enough to follow this trend, right? And that is why we have a business today, because the brands have been bold, and our brands have been bold enough to try out. They have been bold enough to try the innovation.
Mm.
So I would say this entire ecosystem of innovation, fast-paced innovation, consumer-driven, being part of it is really something which has helped us a lot.
Mm. Yeah. I'm so happy that you hit the nail on that. There's a few things that really jumped out at me from what you said, like always keeping the consumer in mind. And there's this blend of innovation and creativity. Yeah. And we know in China, yeah, everything is fast. So that fast pace way of being innovative. And a lot of big companies are struggling with being innovative. You said something that I wanted to really point it out, and I'm happy I remembered it. You said that you found a workable model, and I think this may be even valuable for the listeners. Yeah, what is your definition of a workable model, especially in a landscape like China that is consistently changing? Yeah, what would a workable model look like?
A model like this is a combination of business sense, because it has to make business sense in the long term, right? And while we talked about the fast-paced nature of China, fast pace of innovation, but what we've also seen, there are companies who come and they try to move too fast, try to become too big and to fail. Right? Nothing
Mm.
wrong in that. Nothing wrong in that. But we also need to be aligned with reality, and we also need to be conservative in that sense. And this is where we bring our Indian background to this whole uh, formula, right? Being conservative, being able to survive, right?
Mm.
So when we started this business, we were always here for the long run, right?
Mm.
And this is a model where it is combination of fast-paced innovation, but with ground reality, with our feet on ground, being conservative in the way that the business is also a viable business. I think that is a model which works for China. Too fast
Mm.
too fast to grow with from a business point of view, we need to be much more balanced.
Mm.
And there are,
Mm.
I mean, even if you look at the last, 20, 22 years of my stay here, we have had multiple challenges. I mean, a challenge like COVID last, 3 years back, that is
Yeah,
something which has
mm,
impacted everyone. But the way
mm,
I look at it is we as a company, as a team, we have come out of those challenges. And the only reason we have come out of those challenges is because we had a long-term vision for our business, because
mm,
we had a viable business. And that's one of the
yeah.
reasons. So my advice is always have your feet on ground, have a viable business as well, along with everything what is happening with innovation and creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me just make sure I'm dissecting that for the listeners. So what I'm hearing is you need to have a business sense, meaning that you need to be realistic that what you're doing, yeah, it has risk and it needs to make money. Be conservative. Don't try to grow too fast. Yeah, really be conservatives. And correct me if I'm wrong here. When you say be conservatives, are you talking about with expenses being conservative or conservative in the terms of the amount of risk that you're taking?
I would say more from the expenses point of view, because business
Mm,
is all about money, right? So you have to be conservative from an expenses point of view. You need to really know how much is your run rate, how long will you continue.
mm,
Given that there are risks and challenges, China, even with just being the second largest economy, but there are uncertainties, right? So you need to be aware of that, right? You need to
yeah.
really balance that.
Yeah, and the next one that I really love is to have that long term horizon, have that long time horizon, and I've seen this played out so many times in business. Like a great metaphor is if you look at Elon Musk and you look at a homeless guy, Elon Musk time horizon is to take man to Mars, right? And that time horizon is really long beyond his lifetime. And you can tell when he encountered challenges, the way he approached it will be different compared to a homeless guy where his time horizon is just 24 hours. He's trying to find food or somewhere to live.
Yeah.
And I think as entrepreneurs, we should apply that same concept as well. Like, what is the time horizon you're giving yourself, and how is that affecting your mental ability to balance, yeah, all these complexities in business? Uh, hmm. Ooh. You're giving me bumps. There's so many directions that I can take this. However, what I want to do now, I wanna go deep into your mindset of things for the future. Yeah, you and your partner, Ranjit has been in the game for a long time, and now I want to ask this question. I want you to imagine we're 3 years out, yeah, and your life is better than ever. What would be happening? What would you be telling me right now?
Um, I think um, from a business point of view, the way we look at China, because we are here and it is a big factor in our lives personally as well as from business point of view. I think in the last decade, the innovation that has come out of China, right? I think 3 years from now, we should be looking at a continuation of that. That's number one.
Mm,
But number two,
interesting.
where we would really be looking, and we'll be very happy if that happens, is taking that innovation, taking that digital revolution which has happened here in China, taking that outside of China to a lot of the other countries. And
Interesting.
that would make us really, really happy because we have been here, we have seen it's a big population in this country, and we have seen how people
Mm,
have really adopted digital and how this has enhanced their lives. Right? And we see that there is no reason why it should not, as a concept, should go out and do well,
I know, right? I
right?
know, I know.
Right. So that is something, if that happens in 3 years, we would really feel in a very, very happy place.
It's interesting that you said that. I've been connected to the business school here, and one thing I think academia is really boring. I must put that out there. I think academia is really boring. However, they're doing their research. Yeah, and I remember one of the professors saying that China has now moved from imitation to innovation. So it was very interesting to hear you say that. Yeah, where now a lot of leaders are looking to take a lot of the processes that has been working in China and take them outside. Now, my next question is what are the challenges ahead? Yeah, what would be some of the biggest challenges ahead?
I think some of the challenges for at least the companies in China going outside is from a brand perspective, because anything that goes out has to have a brand deal, has to have a brand trust when they go out. From a technology point of view, from the capability point of view, from a proof of concept, I think we already have a large base here where it has been proven, right? The technology works, the consumers work, everything. But when as a brand you take it outside, where is that brand trust? I think that's where the biggest challenge, right? So if you look at, and I would not take count too many, brands on the traditional media, but if you just look at on the digital media, you have brands like TikTok, Chinese owned, Chinese grown product, which has gone out and done really well. But that's one, right? And we know within China there are multiple products, multiple services which would do really well. So having taken that brand and being successful outside, I think that's the challenge. And added to that are more of the geopolitical things which are happening. That is an additional challenge to the overall thing.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mention, the brand, because that has been a big thing today. Yeah, with digital media, social media and everything. And you're so right. And I want you to dissect this a bit more for the listeners. Yeah, when you say, okay, the tech has already been proven in China, we are living it, we're experiencing it. But when you said the brand, right, what do you mean by that specifically? Yeah, break that down for us a bit more.
Yeah, when we talk about a brand name, so the trust that comes with the brand name, the heritage that comes with the brand name, right? So when you look at Facebook, when you look at Instagram, you know that these are American brands, right? But when you look at China, a brand with quality which goes out and which captures people's imagination, knowing that this is a Chinese brand, right? Maybe on the hardware side, you may have seen things like Xiaomi, right? When they go out and how do they wear. People know that it's a Chinese brand, right? So the perception of a good quality product coming out of China as a brand, right, as a brand name, that perception has to slowly change, right? And that can, people who are utilizing TikTok, they know it's a Chinese brand, right? The people using hardware for Xiaomi, they know it's a Chinese. And these are just two of them I have taken names, but there are multiple, right? But that perception that it is as good as maybe an Apple or as good as Tesla. So that perception of a brand, when that changes, then we really see the China going out and doing well.
Yeah, as you said that, the reason why I'm smiling so big is because we had this one interesting case study where we were looking at Geely. They're one of the car company here in China. And it's very interestingly, like you're so right, the perception that a lot of people outside of China have would really affect the success of a technology coming out. And even though these technology are even better than those outside, like Geely is a really great car company. And since they have acquired Volvo, they have been using a lot of those tech. And if you drive a Geely car, you can really feel the quality. However, for Geely to take that car and make it successful outside, the communication and people perception around that brand would make or break it. Yeah, so I think it's like it's a two-way street, because even for brands coming in China, we have seen how that has worked as well. And what are the opportunities? Like, what opportunities can you and the team at Fogo Mobile, create if you shop with more determination, knowing about these challenges ahead?
From a Fogo Mobile point of view, what is also happening, and this we have seen in the last decade or so, China has developed its own ecosystem, whether it comes to payments, whether it comes to e-commerce, social media. But we are slowly seeing that these concepts, which kind of originated in China, is also merging into a global concept. This is already happening in the other countries in the Western world. So from a Fugu Mobile point of view, while we are going to be very, very focused on the Chinese market, but we are also looking at the global market and taking some of these concepts, some of these technologies outside of China. Right? Because as a concept, it still works. Because as a concept, it's still a consumer technology. It's a consumer experience, right, which has been proven here. So as an opportunity, we are also looking at global opportunities where we can take some of these digital experiences that we have learned here to the outside market. Platforms may be different, but the consumer experience kind of remains the same. So that's one opportunity that we are looking at in taking some of our learnings from here to outside. but we are also going to be very, very focused on China. And I think the next revolution is going to be over AI. That's going to happen in China. So I think both ways there are lots of opportunities which are there on the digital field for Fugu Mobile as a company.
You know, one thing I love about you, Ravi, is you're so consumer focused. Yeah, and I can tell that has been a major part of your success as well. I think one of the biggest thing a lot of entrepreneurs miss is how important the consumer experience is. You know, I've been hearing that word playing in your use of language. And now I'm curious, what have you guys done so far to make this dream happen? Yeah, you mentioned that you want to take some of these things outside. What have Fugu Mobile done so far?
I can give you one example where we have been.
Don't give any trade secret now. No trade secret. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yes. One of the examples that, because that's something that we spoke about, one of the examples is we have been working with Dunkin' Donuts in China for some time, right? Digitizing their experience, digitizing the consumer experience here. And there were a lot of learnings that we had here. So that experience or that learning we have taken out, and now we are expanding into Southeast Asia, starting with Malaysia, where we are taking the same experience and implementing it for Baskin Robbins, which is from the same group as Dunkin' Donuts, right? So we have already started the digitalization for Baskin Robbins in Malaysia for the consumer app. In terms of ordering, in terms of loyalty programs, in terms of the CRM. So that's been going on for almost more than a year. Yeah. So again, on that point, there's a lot of our learning, a lot of the experience that we have here, that we are taking outside of the country and we are implementing it there. So that would be a good example to quote.
And what is that experience like for consumers? What is the experience that you're creating?
The experience, when it was in China, the experience was over WeChat. So users could, buy products at Dunkin' Donuts and they could get into the loyalty program by scanning their QR codes at the POS at the point of purchase. And they would get this point, and with this point, they could get multiple offers that they can redeem at different outlets within China. But obviously, that entire experience was on WeChat. Now, when we go to a market which is outside China, we would have to utilize those platforms which is more relevant to those countries. So when we went to Malaysia, this entire experience was taken out. The concept remains the same, but the entire experience was taken out and it was put on a mobile app, which is more relevant for a market like Malaysia. Then there are subtle differences in terms of the point of sale which is being used in China is different than the point of sale which is being used in Malaysia. So those are more of the tech differences, but from a consumer experience, it is a very similar experience that they would have in China or in Malaysia. The platform or the medium is different. In China, it's WeChat. In Malaysia, it's an app.
Yeah. Awesome. I think this is one of the reasons why I love speaking to technical people. And the great thing about you, you're not just technical, you understand the business. You have the business sense to really translate that. That's truly amazing. And what I wanted to know, I want to ask some quick question. Yeah, is it this or that? Yeah, this will help our listeners to get to know who Ravi is a bit even more. And these are coming fast, and you got to choose. Yeah, there's no hesitation here. You ready for this one, Ravi?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this or that, morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Ideate or execute?
Execute.
Lead by data or gut feeling?
Data.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Delegate or do it yourself?
Delegate.
Think big, start small.
Start small.
Angel investor or VC funding?
Angel investor.
Mac or PC?
PC.
That one is emotional. You might get a lot of enemies after this one, Ravi.
No, we are quite balanced. So my business partner is all about Mac, and I'm all about PC.
Okay. You've been saved. Okay, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Office or remote work?
Office.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ravi. And just before we end this segment, I'd love to know, what was your biggest insight from this conversation? Yeah, what was your biggest takeaway personally?
I will take up a small point that you mentioned, and it's kind of stayed in my head. Is you mentioned that in academic also you are learning about being an entrepreneur, and the traditional view has been that entrepreneurship cannot be taught. But I kind
Mm,
of differ on that, and I feel that entrepreneurship can be taught, right? It
yeah,
can be taught. Entrepreneurs are inspiration, but it can be taught
yeah, yeah,
in academic institutions. And that's one of the reasons that from our point of view also, Fugu Mobile's point of view also, we have been collaborating with a lot of academic institutions, either it
yeah,
is
yeah.
SEED here in China or IIM Ahmedabad in India, or with Ivy Publishing, where we are coming out with our stories as
Yeah,
case
yeah.
studies. So these
Mm,
published as case studies. And the reason why we are doing this is because we firmly believe that entrepreneurship is something which can be taught and can
yes.
inspire students, can inspire in this academic institution.
Mm.
So I think I would pick out that particular point which you mentioned during our talk, and I think that we just needed to talk a bit about that here.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And if this was your last message on earth that you had to share with those who are listening, what would be your last message to us?
I think hard work and taking initiative, I think that always works, either as an entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur or as a team member in any kind of situation that you might be in. But initiative and hard work always works. There is no other,
Mm.
alternate to that.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to get connected to Fugu Mobile yourself, where's the best place to do so? Where is that?
We are in Shanghai, and my WeChat is always open. My mobile number is always open. Emails are always
Oh,
open.
wow.
And I don't know if we're a big or a small company, but one thing, please be assured that we will always reply as soon as possible.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. This is Ravi Shankar, boss. Get connected. I'll leave his information in the show notes so you can get connected to both him, his partner, and Fugu Mobile. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and really inspiring this conversation, Ravi. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Very nice speaking with you.
You've heard the stories and strategies of today's top tech CEOs. But where do you fit in? What's your unique superpower as a founder? Now take our free CEO type quiz to unlock your leadership blueprint and gain insights to maximize your potential. Now go to levelupwithdeano.com and take just 3 minutes to complete this quiz. Instantly receive a detailed report revealing your CEO type, along with a personalized 3-phase plan for achieving abundance and freedom on your term. Are you a visionary, a driver, an analyst, community builder, or self-improver? Take the quiz now and own your entrepreneurial journey. Discover what makes you tick as a founder and learn to lead from your sweet spot for success. That's www.levelupwithdeano.com. Spelling matters. Make sure you get it right. Take the quiz and start leading on your term, your way. This is your key to freedom, and go and get it. Levelupwithdeano.com.